and this happened second time. And
Sir, what's happened?
I don't know what is going on. Guafenazine
No,
is not a typical formulation, either the raw material is not good, so it's get converted into the toxic material, or
no.
somebody in the weighing department not weighing the right stuff.
Sir, I will tell you the facts I am telling just now, sir. Good morning, sir. Dr. Nagappa. Good morning, sir. Dr. Nagappa has joined. Sir, what's happened in that?
Good morning, sir.
Good
Good morning, sir.
Sir, namaskar, Nagappa, sir.
Sir, what's happened? Sir, what's happened in that? Good morning, Dr. Mishra. Sir, what's happened in this product? The API, the propylene glycol or glycerin they are taking. In that case, the diethylene glycol is the culprit. They should test this limit of diethylene glycol. That is a poisonous thing. So in propylene glycol and in also with glycerin, this coming as a impurities. So in our drug rule says that you have to test the all excipients before adding in the preparation. But the manufacturers, they are not doing that one. They are purchasing the commercial quality of propylene glycol or glycerin. And that time, the limit of this diethylene glycol is much more. That's why sometimes even death occurs. Sir, if you see in the year of 1939 or 1940, when the sulfanilamide came, that time the same incidents were occurred. That time people were not knowing. That time this ethylene glycol was used as a solvent. That time so many children died.
No, I understand, Dr. Gupta, but it's a very simple thing. Okay, very simple thing. Every raw material you buy, that should have a raw material approved card that these are our specification. So when the raw material comes in, somebody needs to analyze before they release the raw material.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
we can go and say this thing happened and that thing happened, but somebody is sleeping over and they are not following the GMP. Now,
yes, sir. Yes, you are correct. They are not doing the test. That is the main reason. They are not doing the test.
I understand that. I understand. So thing is that thing is this, okay? Some of the pharmaceuticals.
Good morning, Murthy sir. Sir, please unmute yourself. Sir, please
good
unmute
morning,
yourself.
sir.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you very well.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clear.
So what it is that before you buy a raw material, you have got a card that such and such raw material is an approved one, and these are the limits. Now, suppose somebody doesn't follow them, either they should be fired, but we cannot wait till the children are dead. We can give an excuse, And other thing is that somebody is not weighing the proper, that ingredient. They are asking the guy to pick it up from the drum directly, that you go and pick up, 1 gallon, you go and pick up 2 gallons. Somebody might have put more. You cannot say the raw material is wrong. Somebody might have made the product more diluted so they can make more money. You make the product 15% more diluted, you fill more number of bottles, and they will think that it will go away. So this is an inside job. This is an inside job. It is being done. How can you buy a raw material which is substandard?
That's when
the drug control should become strict. 3 minutes to go. Let us focus on today's presentations.
Okay, sure.
Good morning,
Thank
sir.
you for inviting us.
Good morning.
Namaste, Dr. Murthy. Good to see you.
Sir, please unmute yourself, sir. Murthy sir, please unmute yourself.
Dr. Murthy.
You need to unmute.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Now it is.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now we may start program, sir.
We'll start it, sir.
Many more.
Good morning, all of you. Dr. Mahadev sir, Professor
Good
Ananta
morning to
Naik,
you.
Professor Arun Gupta, principal and staff of this college, staff, students of this college, other delegates, dignitaries, and everyone. I am privileged to invite all of you to this international webinar on the topic Community Connect, Pharmaceutical Care Everywhere. We are really happy that we have eminent experts. Dr. Madhav sir, who is an all-rounder in the field of pharmacy. He worked in the clinical pharmacy, he worked as a community pharmacist, he worked in the industry. He has vast experience of about 50 years. And in equal terms, we have Professor Ananta Naik sir with us. He is the president of Association of Community Pharmacists of India, and he has done wonderful in the field of pharmacy, in community pharmacy and other aspects. And we also have Dr. Professor Rupnaran Gupta, the Vice President of Indian Pharmaceutical Association, and he's in the hospital pharmacy division, and he has contributed significantly in the field of hospital pharmacy through his services and guidance. And we have a large number of participants in today's webinar. Besides this Google Meet, we also have the streaming by from YouTube, and some has joined on the YouTube also. So I invite all of you to this international webinar. And without wasting time, we want to give the time to our experts rather than our speaking. So I would request now Dr. Arun Gupta sir to kindly introduce the eminent personalities of this meeting, Dr. Mahadev Bhatt sir and Professor Ananta Naik sir. And over to you, Dr. Gupta sir.
Good morning. Good morning to all. Thank you,
Good
Dr.
morning.
Murthy.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning to all. It is my privilege to introduce the two eminent speakers, Dr. Madhav Bhatt and Dr. Ananta Nayak. Nagappa ji. Dr. Nagappa is well known in our India. He is a well-known community pharmacist. He is advocating the community pharmacy services. He has done his B.Pharm, M.Pharm from Government College of Pharmacy, Bangalore, and he did PhD from BIT Pilani. After that, he has worked in several pharmacy colleges in different positions. He has worked in Manipal, Mahe as a professor. Then he has worked in MIT Pharmacy College, MIT College of Pharmacy. Then now at present he is working at Himachal Pradesh Pharmacy College. He is a founder president of Association of Community Pharmacists of India. He has started this movement for community pharmacy so that the pharmacists of our India should doing pharmacy practice. They should start. I have heard the lecture of Dr. Nagappa. He has advocated about the benefits of pharmacy practice, and he has inspired our pharmacists to set up their own pharmacy and set up their own pharmacy practice. And what are the advantages he is going to inform. So we are welcoming Dr. Nagappa in this session. And regarding our Dr. Madhav Bhatt, he is also eminent speaker. He is a well-known industry pharmacist, community pharmacist, and hospital pharmacist. He has started his career in pharmacy he had B.Pharm from LM College of Pharmacy in the 1972. After that, he went to America, and there he worked in a drug industry. After that, after retirement, he again joined a hospital as a director in one of the hospital pharmacy. Then he worked at Walk-in Pharmacy, and now he is working as a community pharmacist. He has got his specialization in community as well as community pharmacy and clinical pharmacy. So he is advocating in this section to convince our pharmacists, to generate the confidence of pharmacists to do pharmacy practice. Whatever knowledge we have acquired, we should do pharmacy practice. We are thankful to both speakers, Dr. Nagappa and Dr. Mahadev, for organizing such type of program and delivering lecture. They have arranged within short 6 months of period. They have arranged this program Dr. Nagappa and Dr. Madhav, about more than 200 colleges they have arranged this program. We are thankful to his dedicated services to our Indian pharmacists for inspiring. We salute both of them for devoting his time for this. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Murthy to invite Dr. Nagappa first, then Dr. Madhav.
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
sir. Dr. Nagappa, please.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Arun Gupta, sir, for your nice introduction and collaboration. And I now request our coordinator, Professor Madhusmriti Kandai, to kindly introduce Professor Arun Gupta, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's a privileged moment for me to introduce Professor R.N. Gupta, sir, Vice President of Indian Pharmaceutical Association, to all. Sir has 45 years of professional experience in almost all areas of profession, right from teaching, research, recognized with many awards to his credit, along with publications of research and review articles in various journals of repute. He also has 2 books written to his credit for the benefits of pharma professional fraternity. Presently, Sir is associated with BIT Mishra. With this brief introduction, I welcome you, Sir, and thank you for arranging this event.
Thank you, Dr. Madhusmriti, for the nice introduction. So, all the dignitaries, welcome again to this very interesting session. As you all know, India is progressing very well in the field of pharmaceutical sciences and pharmacy. It's also known as world of pharmacy. And we are exporting medicines to almost every country, including the developed countries. And we stand at position 3 as far as the quantity of the medicine is concerned. And price-wise, we stand at 13. That means we are supplying medicines to the entire globe at very affordable prices. But we lack in certain respects like community pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, etc., where we need a lot of improvement in our country when you compare to other countries. So we have 2 eminent speakers today, one from our president of Association of India, Community Pharmacists India, Dr. Professor Anantanaik Nagapaji, and an experienced person with vast experience in the field of pharmacy in the United States of America, Dr. Mahadev Bhatt. So we are very fortunate that they have given their consent to be with us and encourage and advise and guide our students and staff on very important aspects of community and hospital pharmacy, etc. And I really appreciate and congratulate and thank for their wonderful services and initiative taken by both of these persons and Dr. Arun Gupta to promote these aspects in our country. I really appreciate them and thank them and congratulate. And I wholeheartedly welcome again to our institute to this conduct to this webinar. And now I request Professor Anantanaik Nagapaji to kindly deliver his talk. Thank you, sir. Over to you, Professor Anantanaik, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Royal good morning to you all. Your name
Good
is
morning.
Royal. You know, you're all royals.
Thank you, sir.
So as we look at a lamp, it gives light in every direction, but at its foot there is a darkness.
Yeah.
Have you observed? This is due to the same thing I can call to our pharmacy profession also. We are the champions of medicine supplying, and we are the hub of medicine makers in the world. But at the same time, while we are using it, we are more product oriented, neglecting the patients, which is unacceptable to anybody in the world. See, the medicines, however, it is acceptable to manufacturers, the marketers, and healthcare professionals in the guise of marketing the drugs. So I want to ask you this question, whether by taking all the medicines manufactured in the world, can I remain healthy? Health and disease are 2 different things. We must not confuse the health with the disease. So disease comes and goes. And if the disease goes beyond that, at that time only you need a medicine. Suppose you have an infection of a urinary tract infection. And You need medicines, of course. You need antibiotics. You need amoxicillin plus clavonic acid. But how many days? There should be a course of disease. Means the disease is limited. For example, chronic diseases. These are also have become chronic because of our negligence. Chronic diseases are not chronic because of our negligence, and we have a very strange attitude. I believe that I have got a lot of health in the world. In the world, I am blessed with a lot of health, and I neglect it, and I fall trap. I'll become diseased. At that time, I get alert because it is also causing pain, and also it is also hinting me my death. So I'll become caution and I will remain very serious and I will do all the things. And once I get back, I will forget again. So this is the cycle. It's happening all the way. So this is how we have to cope up with. Now, the medicines, whatever manufactured in our country or in any other country, are synthesized and made this thing. They are made with a concept of particular disease in mind. Please understand. Anti-diabetics, anti-inflammatory agents. All these are to a particular condition or particular disease. And it is not that it is only going to affect that inflammation or the diabetes and all. It is going to every part of our body, every cell of our body gets exposed to it and causes harm. And this harm is very, very serious harm. We cannot neglect it. That's why in countries there is a watchdog, there is a system, there is a particular strong profession called as community pharmacist. These community pharmacists watch and ward the ill effects of the drugs on a prescribed medicine. They always take care. Why we don't have such system here? We have the pharmacy business. We don't have pharmacy practice. We have pharmaceutical care. We don't have pharmaceutical care, but we have pharmaceutical market. So if you go to a medical shop, you will find a place of where the drugs are dispensed. So not dispensed, they are sold out. And dispensing is you have to have a concern for the patient. That is the difference between dispensing and selling the medicines. And we are only selling the medicines. We are not dispensing, means we are not taking care what happens to the patient after he takes it to home, how he is using it, and where he is. And this is universal in India. Any part of the country you go, you find the same thing. The pharmacists have forgotten their role and responsibility. That's why they lost their identity. The royals are royals only in their college, but outside the college, have got no recognition. This situation has arisen because of our utter negligence and the inertness. We have become so much inert that even though the High Court says, Patna High Court said that you must practice pharmacy. PCI has told, Union government has told, and also have made a law for this. Why? Because drugs are harmful. Drugs are really harmful, and this harm is seen not immediately. It may take 5 years, it may take 10 years. In my case, I'm become diabetic. I want to tell you that 10 of my brothers and sisters, we are 10 children, I'm the only diabetic because when I was just completed my graduation, B.Pharm, I fallen sick to a familial disease, genetic disorder, whatever you may call it as. It's called as schizophrenia. And I had a lot of depression. And to overcome the depression, lithium salts were given. And the actual rule is the lithium salt, when they are given, they should monitor the blood concentration. It was not constant, they didn't do it, and it went on accumulating in my body, and it took 10 years to destroy all my pancreas. From 30 years to 68 years, I am suffering from diabetes. Who will that neurophysiologist, when we ask him, he will say that, no, we don't do such things in India. If your psychological correction is made, that's enough. Similar thing happened to my friend Shekhar's mother, who was admitted to the very famous hospital in Delhi, very corporate, very famous hospital, and she was admitted for cancer. So in the chemotherapy treatment, they gave her she developed some infections, urinary tract infections, because immunity goes down, and it's a common thing. So they started giving gentamicin, and when she got gentamicin, nobody bothered that gentamicin will cause hearing impairment. And this lady was telling, gradually my hearing sensation has come down. I can't hear. And she complained to the doctor also. And doctor became alert. Arey Baba, she is a mother of IIT professor. And Shekhar is a USA pharmacist. They are not going to leave the hospital and me. They are going to sue us. Like that, fear happened in his mind. He did not show any reaction. He said, "Stop the gentamicin." He told the nurse coolly, "Stop the gentamicin." And by then, the damage has been done. That lady survived for 5, 6 years, and every time all the family members who wanted to speak to her have to use a special loud voice. Everybody was very much straining their vocal cords to communicate with this lady. So who is responsible for that? Gentamicin has to be blood concentration has to be monitored. It is standard procedure in the developed country. Why don't we have such thing here? Why pharmacy is not doing such things? So such cases you find in and around throughout the country. People are suffering because the drugs are doing harm, not immediately, but slowly they are doing it. We have a new fascination for pharmacovigilance. It is giving jobs, all right. Under the law, it is mandatory that manufacturer has to supply the pharmacovigilance data to the company. Why not pharmacy practice data? Pharmacovigilance is like a villain has done his harm, and at the end he has to be killed, and he will be killed by hero, like happens in Hindi movies or in any other movies. In Odisha movies, also same thing happens. So the police will enter. So that is the thing. After the harm has been done, then we are finding out what is the harm has been done, count it, and produce that, collect that data. Collective data is produced to Drug Technical Advisory Board, and they will take a decision on whether to continue the drug or not to continue the drug. This is how our system works. Please, friends, please, may I have my slides, please? Can I have my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Madhusmita,
Sharing. 2 minutes. 2 minutes,
please.
sir. Sharing.
Yeah. Then what happened? Usually in our country we don't care for health. As I told you initially, I have in my practice I have gone. We are going for home medication review. You know what is home medication review? You go and meet a patient there. In that course, we met a senior citizens in a home where the husband was 75-year-old. He is also weak, and the lady was 70-year-old, and she was bedridden when we went. And we asked for the prescription, whether they gone to doctors and all, what is the story. Both the childrens, they have got two sons, and all their wives and all grandchildren, they will come once in a while, and then they will meet, and then they will go away. Money is no drug, they're sending enough money, but the health is not taken care. Health is very poor. The lady is bedridden for more than a week, and I checked her prescription. And in her prescription and her medicine kitchen cabinet, I found that only minerals, multivitamins, and minerals, ferrous, and all these things. I wondered whether these drugs can give a health, will give energy. I thought, what is missing? And I asked her to give her dietary plan. She revealed that she is fond of the uh, she is fond of rice and wheat products. So they are making rice and wheat products every day and day night. And I asked them, where is the protein? The protein is missing because I studied in biochemistry in the first year B Farm that proteins are very important, and there is also a concept called as balanced diet. So I use that knowledge and found out that the culprit is the protein deficiency. How do you overcome a protein deficiency? I would have asked them, because they had a lot of money. I would have asked them get the D protein and all these things, but I did not tell that. I told them that you take moong, sabut, green gram, one fistful of green gram, soak it in the evening, morning, it is ready to eat. So, like that, you eat for 15 days, let me come and see what will happen. So, when we went after 15 days for the visit, I found that, sorry, some phone call. Sorry, I found that the lady was very active. She got up and she made tea for all our team members. 7, 8 cups of tea were made. And we sipped the tea and we told her that she should not take the Neurobian injection. Whether you take injection or oral, it doesn't make any difference. And she was very happy when we stopped her injection, because it was very painful for a 70-year-old whose muscle mass is less, intramuscular Neurobian injection. So based in oil. So that was it. And then we kept a B complex and one multi mineral tablet like ferrous sulfate, calcium, and all those things. But we told that she has to take care of the diet, and she should change her diet to balanced diet. What all should be there? What should be in the balance and all? We explained the concept, and still today they still remember us. Their health problem was solved, but they did not get any serious illness. This was in 2021, 2010. So this is how the care should be given to the patients. Can I have the next slide, please? So this is the law. Government of India passed the law in 2015, revised it in 2021, and it is called as the pharmacy practice regulations. So it is throughout India, even Jammu and Kashmir is not barred from it now. So in the Gazette notification, I will speak much about it. Few points I will highlight. What is the privileges of a pharmacist or a registered pharmacist? Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. See, they describe the pharmacy practice. They describe the pharmacy practice as the interpretation, evaluation,
Okay, Madhu,
and
put the slide,
implement
slide
and
show more.
implementation. So, interpretation. What is to interpret? Interpretation is the interpretation of the prescription and interaction with the patient and finding out whether the prescription is appropriate for the patient or not. This one we have to do it very carefully. Every patient we have to do it. So interpretation. So it is not that just your registered pharmacist certificate is hanging in the thing. Pharmacist, a live pharmacist should interpret the prescription. You may, and then after interpretation, finding out that what the patient is suffering from, what is the diseases he has. You have been taught, you have been taught everything in your B Pharm course. The teachers know about all these things, so they will immediately able to interpret and the and then you have the evaluation. You have to evaluate the thing. You have to check whether it is appropriate, whether doses are correct, all this evaluation, and then you have to implement. You have to explain the patients that if you have this kind of side effects, please consult me back, because some effects are very, very severe. And then if the patient gets into a wrong thing, react to a reaction to a drug, all these things should be taken care, and that's why we call it as pharmaceutical care. This is why we call it as pharmaceutical care. And then, can you please share that? Madhusmati Kanzai has left. Please share that. Don't put it off, because another 4, 5 slides I have to go through it. So then what happened? They have given the rights. Go to the previous slide only. They have this act clearly indicates that the health care or the disease care is a teamwork. So they gives us the permission. They authorize the pharmacist They authorize the pharmacist to participate in discussion with the doctors in the clinics, selection of the drugs and devices. So how it is important in a case study, I will explain you. And then they will also uh, ask us to update with clinical skills like bandage, and also help with nurses in their duty in job. Actually, doctors to diagnose and prescribe, and nurses are to give the administration of the drugs, and the pharmacist is to explain the patients and make the patient safe, because all these treatments are harmful if they are not used in a proper manner. Can I have the next slide, please? So this is about the, yeah, code of pharmacy ethics. So what is ethics? Every religion, every profession have got ethics. They have got certain things by which they earn respect in the society. Suppose if we are ethical, then we are respected by the society. I told that the community pharmacists in India, they take pride in working in the background. No, come to the forefront. Enough is enough. Now come to the forefront and look at the people's uh, suffering and help them if you can do it, because you have the knowledge, because doctor also practices after doing a regular job. Teachers also can, after teaching they can practice, and the nurse also can practice after in her holidays or some other day. So practice is a unique property of all the healthcare professionals. In our country, we don't do it. That's why we lost our identity. So there is nothing wrong. And I have clarified this with the State Pharmacy Council of Karnataka. And I went there and I said that, can we practice by being a teacher? No, you can practice. The registrar told that you can practice. Personally, I know him. That's why I told him that how can we practice? Because you say that no. There are two things. One is you cannot open a medical shop with your certificate, but with your certificate you can teach. When you are free, you can practice. So this is done by other professionals also. A physiotherapist or a nurse or a doctor does, and you can also do it. Who have stopped you from doing it? You only have done it. You have only thought that I am confined to teaching, I will do research. I will not go and help the people. So people have are in trouble. They are in great trouble. They are facing problem, because all drugs, all new devices are coming with lot of knowledgeable medicine. Now, there is a lot of knowledge required to use it. For example, you timed release. For example, asthma inhalers. For example, anything you take, there is a science behind it, and that science has to be practiced. Unless you practice it, the medicine is a waste. Medicine is a waste. It's of no use. Okay. So please, and these medicines are used by your own family members and by you and your wife. Please understand that. Okay. Don't say that why should I practice? Why should I help others? Your own family members, your own grandpa, grandmother, and all other people are using these medicines. Day night they are using it, and nobody is taking care of it. And you say that I have done a pharmacist, I have a registered pharmacist. For what? Shame on you. If you are a registered pharmacist, if you are not looking at the prescriptions, then shame on you. So let me tell you some of the things, how people have come up in their life. I'll take the example of my own father, who became a pharmacist by 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, he became a pharmacist, do you know? So in 1954, the government of Karnataka called established the State Pharmacy Council, and there are no members in that. What they did, they called all the people, those who know English, who can read English, and at least they can understand the prescriptions. So they called and they gave them 3 weeks training. 21 days training was given in the Government College of Pharmacy, where I did my graduation and post graduation. My father in 1954, before I born, he had that 3 weeks training, and he was given license to open medical shop with several other people who attended the training throughout the Karnataka. So that's how the Karnataka started its journey as a medical shops business. So then what happened? Then the medicine were all written in English, and English skill has to be acquired. My father somehow acquired, and he started reading the newspaper. And in his free time, he used to read newspaper, and he had an excellent accent of English. And then next is the knowledge about the medicines, how to get it. In 3 weeks, they could not give all the knowledge about medicines. And there was medical representatives who used to visit his pharmacy also and also the doctors. So he took it as an advantage and he told the medical representatives and he behaved in a friendly manner. Really, he wanted we become friends with the medical representative and asked them, what did he explain to the doctors? And they were happy to explain to this young man. In 1955, my father was a young man. So they used to, and he used to listen carefully, and he used to collect their material, detailing material, and all. Within 3 years, he became very well versed with the knowledge of the medicines he is handling with. That is the power of the person. If he wants, he can learn anything. He may not have studied medicinal chemistry and all that, but he knew what is the medicine he is selling and what it can do, and he became a resource for the doctors. Whenever doctors had some doubt, they used to recall him because he has the latest knowledge. And then it went on, and we become very prosperous. And and in those times, the snake bite Hofkin Institute was to make anti-snake venom, which was costing 500 rupees in 1963. I still remember. But I was 8 year old and I used to go along with my father and to get some new thing. So I used to sit in medical shops and all those things and all it was this thing. So in that time, I observed that my father had ordered a medicine called as anti-snake venom. Sorry, when call came from.
Sir,
Dr. Nagappa, you are mute. You need to open up.
So others were still he used to keep the stock, and my father was laughing at stock because others were laughing at him. Well, what type of businessman he is? They have no business sense. He is wasting 500 rupees. Sometimes it gets utilized. Sometimes and also the margin on the sales was like any other medicine. Why we should keep the expensive medicine? But he took it in a different manner. He thought that if I keep this injection, I can save a life of a person who was bitten by snake. So like that, several lives were saved by him because of that concept. And other people used to send the prescription to my father's medical shop. And I still remember several uh, night, in the mid of the night, people used to come and he used to go to the medical shop and then give the medicine and come back. And next day, people used to say that you have saved the life of a person. So this is how he made an opportunity for himself, and he earned money and he earned a goodwill, and that goodwill went on accumulating, and he became very prosperous, and he diversified later on into a very rich person. He started a pharmaceutical industry, and he started the paddy, rice, everything he started doing, whatever and he had a initial success, and then he had a lot of loss because his own friends become jealous of himself, and he was deceived, and he lost everything. When he lost everything, he came to the medical shop and stood there, and people in Harihar, a small community, they're watching what's happening. They saw the Nagappa in the earlier days. He was when he started his medical shop. and they saw him also prosperous, and also they saw him again a pauper. The pauper Nagappa was not liked by the people. They wanted him to be a successful, a viable person. So what they did, all community people, whether irrespective of the religion and other here, they took a oath that let us revive this medical shop first. So my father observed a very strange thing that people used to come with a prescription and they used to check whether they have a medicine or written in their prescription. If it is there, then they will buy there only. Then they will go to the next shop if it is not available. With also a note that that medicine has to be ordered for his next supply. So like this, my father business went on and he revived his economic condition in 3 or 4 years. It is not a strange thing. Why people should care for him? Because the community we serve, they don't respond immediately. They keep the things in their heart. When you require help, they will come and help you. So don't forget this. Community is a very, very observant, resilient, and does the thing when they need you. When they need you. So please, if you are a good person, if you are an ethical person, you will be protected by the community. That's why we say that dharmo rakshati rakshita. This is about the code of ethics. Coming to the next slide, please. Can you change the next slide? So here is an opportunity. Here the government of India says that you can charge the money for the services you provide. The law is telling who is preventing you. They say that you can charge money appropriate for the services you pharmaceutical care you do it, but still we are not doing it. In Australia, where we our medicines are also sold, so they will sell our medicines depending on the requirement of the patients. And for this, pharmacist will spend a good amount of time. And he is a pharmacist by training and also by clearing an examination. In all developed countries, they have an examination, and that examinations has to be cleared. And license is given for 1 or 2 years only. Again, they have to reappear in exams. In our country, no such things. Once you are a registered pharmacist, you are a registered pharmacist throughout your life. Foolish thing. Because the medicines one I passed out are nowhere available, they have become abundant. New medicines have come, new knowledge has come, and that knowledge is required for the practice of the pharmacy. As we don't practice pharmacy, we don't need to revise our knowledge levels. So this is how we are seeing. I tell you in Canada, my own student has gone and working as a community pharmacist, earning 5 lakhs. Within no time, he opened his own medical shop and he is earning enough money there. So there are so many students across the developed Canada, USA, Great Britain, New Zealand, Australia, all these countries, the Indian pharmacists are liked and loved by them. I still remember Pradeep Damodaran, who is of my age only. He was my student because somehow he completed his BSc and came in from Kerala, and he opened a medical shop in Kamloops, a small village in the Vancouver of Canada. So I went to him and he was so happy to receive me. And I said that I came here not to see your prosperity, but I want to study the pharmacy system here. So he took me to the pharmacy and I observed that the drugs, after they have been handed over to the patients, they were waiting in queues, one after the other, to talk to the Pradeep Damodaran, the registered pharmacist, or his wife Sunita Damodaran. So both husband and wife are registered pharmacists, and they are also appointed one more pharmacist. See, there are three pharmacists. They work 8 hour schedule and 5 days a week. So like that, they were running the medical shop, and they were getting paid by the government and by the insurance company for making the patient safe. For making the patient safe, they are saving money on medicines. They are not dispensing and earning margins like in India. If you they don't have schemes, 10 plus 2 free. Such schemes are unheard. So they are having a patient centric atmosphere where we have a product centric. We should kick off this product centric this thing, and the our system should change. Our system should change. That's why this mission, lifetime mission, pharmaceutical care everywhere. Unless all of you will say loudly and join this mission, our patients are going to suffer. They are losing lives. They are becoming crippled. They have been damaged their health due to ill effects of the drugs, which is our responsibility. When I dispense, it is my responsibility to see that whatever I dispense do good to the patient. But here, no such thing. We have to take care of our own thing, and identity will automatically follow. When you help a people, they will definitely never forget. They will definitely never forget. They will come and help you. Can I have the next slide, please? So here what is to be done, and this I will skip it. Come to the case study. Come out of this law. Please scroll out, come down, change the slide. This will Madhav Bhatt will explain. Yeah. Punishment also is there if you do wrong practice, wrong and you got caught. That is there. So next slide, please. Yeah, this is also I don't have to spend time because I want to go for next slide. Yeah, next slide, please. I have finished in this law. You can come to the case study. Yeah, come to declaration. All come to this is all the law. So here is an interesting story where one of my student actually came from Kathmandu University. Her name is Devyani Babode. She came with the reference of her brother. I was earlier working in BITS Pilani and she joined me and she said that I want to do some project in pharmacy practice. So I said, okay, you can do home medication review. And she started home medication review. She took around 112 patients divided into two groups and they give for standard care and she give pharmaceutical care. And she found that pharmaceutical care is having a greater impact on the health of the diabetes outcomes, diabetic treatments. So in that course, then she completed. She went to Pune and opened a pharmaceutical care center. Her way of working was very interesting. She went to the doctor and told that you please send your patients. I will do the monitoring of their blood pressure and the blood sugar and give them the proper care which you also want it. So the doctor was happy and they were referring the patients to her and she used to give the care to the patients were referred by the doctors. And a new thing she began, it was in 2020, I think. No, 2012 or something like that. Okay. Can I have the next slide, please? This is the study. We did not publish it. Anyway, it is there. So we borrowed a AdQuil, audit quality of life, diabetic quality of life, from a person in London. She had made this thing and we requested her. We said that we are going to use it for the quality of assessment of quality of life of pharmaceutical care. And then she gave very happily, she shared with us. And this study is there in our website. Can I have the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. Can anybody read it for me? Two persons supposed to read. Somebody should read. One male and one female voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
please.
nice. Mrs. W, a 53-year-old woman, has had gastrointestinal acid-related disorder (GORD) diagnosed by endoscopy. Mrs. W has a history of asthma, hypertension, and duodenal ulcer. Her current drug therapy includes amlodipine, that is 10 mg in the morning, salbutamol inhaler, 2 puffs as required, and beclomethasone inhaler, 200 micrograms twice daily, and theophylline 300 milligrams twice daily. Mrs. W has recently undergone successful H. pylori eradication therapy, which has been confirmed by carbon urea breath test. Mrs. W smokes 10 cigarettes a day, has a body mass index of 35, and does not drink alcohol.
So another repeat by a lady's voice. A woman should read it. Yeah. Please volunteer. Anyone can read the case.
Sir,
Yeah.
Mrs. W, a
Please
53-year-old woman.
tell your name.
Sir, myself, Madhusmiti Khandai.
You come online. We want to see your face.
Sir, my camera is not working.
Very bad. Very unlucky. Okay. We could not see you. Anyway, read. Your voice we can hear.
Mrs. W, a 53-year-old woman, has had gastrointestinal acid-related problems, GORD, diagnosed by endoscopy. Mrs. W had a history of asthma, hypertension, and duodenal ulcer. Her current drug therapy includes amlodipine, 10 mg in the morning, salbutamol inhaler, 2 puffs as required, beclomethasone inhaler, 200 microgram twice daily, and theophylline 300 mg twice daily. Mrs. W has recently undergone successful H. pylori eradication therapy, which has been confirmed by carbon urea breath test. Mrs. W smokes 10 cigarettes a day and has a body mass index of 35 and does not drink alcohol.
Thank you. Can I roll the slide down? Next slide. Next slide. Next slide, please. So in this case, we have to divide, whenever we come across, we have to divide into lifestyle factors, drug factors, and disease factors. Classify look at the case and classify them. See, we want the patient should stop smoking. And when you say that you stop smoking, she will not accept your suggestion. What to do it? So then you should tell that if you smoke, as you are having GORD, the burning sensations will be more. You count morning to evening, how many times you had a burning sensations. She will tell that I am having around 12 to 15. Now you offer her that if you smoke 5 cigarettes, burning sensation will come down. You just see. So she will smoke 5 cigarettes on that day, and her burning sensation will come down to 5 or 6. Then why? What is the relationship with the burning sensation? Because the cigarette contains nicotine. Nicotine will not only stimulant, it also acts on the sphincter muscle, and sphincter tone is lost, and sphincter gets opened, and whenever the acid is there, if it bumps out, it will enter the esophagus and cause the burning sensation. So is it not? So after finding out the number of cigarettes reduction and uh, the burning sensation and this thing, then the patient will get convinced. Yes, if I smoke 5 cigarettes, then my episode will come exactly 6 or 7. So if I give it up, it will be further reduced. Okay, like that, the patient counseling should be done. Patients counseling is a very artful, skillful activity a pharmacist will acquire during his practice. During his practice, he will acquire, and this one is very very important. Coming to the drug factors, you believe that doctors are experts in medicinal chemistry? They are experts in pharmaceutics. They are experts in drug delivery systems. What they know? As I don't know about diagnosis, he also doesn't know about these new developments in the drug therapy. But this knowledge is very important. So because he is prescribed amlodipine. Amlodipine is a calcium channel blocker. And this calcium channel blocker is also going to act on the sphincter tone and enhance the reduce the sphincter tone and open up the sphincters. And when a sphincter is open, there is the acid can bump back. Similarly, theophylline. Theophylline is a cousin of caffeine. Is closely related. Its structures are closely related. And this knowledge a pharmacy has. Pharmacist has not because he studies medicinal chemistry, he studies biochemistry, he studies what all he studies. So this knowledge has to be applied, and you can suggest why this amlodipine and theophylline are given. Amlodipine is given for the management of hypertension and theophylline for the management of asthma. So doctor can do alternative drug therapy in this case. In this case, because there is no much improvement, there is a burning sensation is there in the patient because of these two drugs. And if you look at the therapeutic alternatives available for the hypertension and for the asthma, there are plenty of other drugs which do not interfere with the sphincter tone. So you can go and suggest the doctor, look doctor, these drugs is causing harm to the patient because of the sphincter tone getting relaxed. So if you give the other any other drug apart from this drug, that is going to help the patient to overcome the problem. So doctor will be happy to look at your interest in the patient's health, because if the patient gets well, the credit goes to doctor initially. But again, you will forget that the pharmacist who has helped, he is also he is entitled for the also is credit. Coming to the final factors, the uh, disease factors. So in several times what happens, the asthma is a gift of GORD. Most of the GORD patients suffer from asthma because the GORD condition will not only acid fumes enter into the esophagus and burn, they also enter the lungs and they cause the hydrochloric acid triggered asthma. So triggered asthma will be there. The again somebody called me. US fellows. Okay. Just a minute. So phone call, you have to excuse it because I cannot allow, I can't stop them. So this condition in this disease factor is a catch. We have a catch there. Asthma is acid triggered, and now the disease of acid is cured by the eradication of H. pylori infection. H. pylori makes an enzyme called as urease, and urease, human beings don't make urease. So using this as an advantage, we have devised a diagnostic test to confirm the H. pylori infection is eradicated or not. What they give is they feed the urea, radio-labeled urea, to the patient, and if that doesn't get metabolized, and if you get a negative report of carbon dioxide, radio labeled carbon dioxide is not present in the breath, then you can confidently say that the H. pylori infection is not there. And in case there is a positivity of the H. pylori infection, then that radio labeled carbon dioxide is going to be found in the asthmatic patient. So now the what you will do is, so you do a carbon urea test, and I explained to you what is carbon urea test, and then you give a P flow meter. This is like just like a pen, like handheld device where respiratory volumes can be measured. The asthma is defined by the respiratory volumes. You must understand that. So he will flow it, he will blow it, and his vital capacity or respiratory volumes are measured, and there is a cutoff point. If the cutoff point is more than the asthmatic respiratory volumes, then he has no asthma. Then you have made a big contribution, and you can tell the doctors, sir, I have checked the P flow meter, respiratory volumes indicate that he has no asthma right now. So doctor also will check in his clinic with the same P flow meter what you have done it in your community pharmacy. There also he finds that asthma may not be there. Now he will do the deep prescribing. The prescription writing is one of the prescription. De-prescribe means he will remove those medicines from the prescription. So de-prescribing of the medicines is taken place. So we should always observe people are taking drugs lifelong, thinking that they have the disease. So evaluation, interpretation, evaluation, all these things, we must be alert whether the person is required drugs or not. Here in India, we get money by the margin of sales, which is not there like in other countries. In developed countries, they will pay money. Australian government has announced 18 Australian dollars for each pharmaceutical care event. My friend Sridhar Bhatt works in Perth. He says that we get $18 paid by the government of this thing for providing the pharmaceutical care for 1 month or 2 months. I don't know. So this is goes on happens. And now let us do the next slide. Next slide, please. So product orientation and the okay. So now the we have can I have some photographs are there? Some photographs are there in the PowerPoint. Can you please show that? It gives you an idea how how we used to practice. Photographs, not this. Again a call came, disrupting my seminar. I don't know how to get off them. So now am I audible? So please change the in the presentation. You come down and look at the things, what services we used to provide and what respect we used to gain. So in that PowerPoint presentation, few more photos are there. I want that photos to be exhibited here. Come down, yeah. See the student with the training and in my presence, she is monitoring the BP. She's not measuring BP. She is monitoring every week, twice she used to go and monitor and find out whether BP is under control. Monitoring nobody does in our country. Patients are left to themselves, and patient uncontrolled BP, uncontrolled blood sugar, uncontrolled asthma have got severe complications. And these complications are preventable. These complications are preventable by providing proper care. So you just understand what is your role. Can I have the next slide, please? Can I have the next slide, please? Next slide, please. So thank you very much. I conclude my talk here. I request Madhav Bhatt to take from me and convince you about the pharmaceutical care everywhere, community connect, pharmaceutical care everywhere. Thank you very much for patient listening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Are we all set?
Yes,
Shall I
sir.
start?
Audible, please go ahead.
Okay. Can you bring up the slide, please? The PPT?
Yes, sir. 2 minutes. Getting
Okay.
back.
Okay, sure. Well, let me give you some background, why this program is called Community Connect. And you all should know that India is progressing towards have the first Indian vaccinator by the end of month of May. There is a pilot study going on at Goa. His name is Raj Vaidya. He owns a pharmacy called Hindu Pharmacy, and IPA is going to train them by calling some pharmacists from Australia. I think that is going to happen in Mysore. And so the practice of pharmacy is changing. So pretty soon, pharmacists will be giving a vaccine. You know, it is already being approved from the health ministry, but they need some data to let everybody do that. Number two, I sent some video clips that in Uttar Pradesh, they are going to start a bee pharmacy care clinic where you can convert the brand name into the generic because the drugs have become very expensive. And bee farm can sit in that pharmacy and he can request the doctor to have a equivalent generic. A copy of that would go to that particular state food and drug commissioner. So if doctor is not going to listen, he will have to justify because the people cannot afford the medication. Number three, Doordarshan had uh, taken a program where a pharmacist came. Her name is Priti Tagade, and she runs a pharmacy industry website called Presal, and she also confirmed that government is going to ask to help community to have a generic drug at a lower cost. So somebody will have to dispense that. I think Dr. Gupta has the information regarding Deen Dayal Upadhyay Ayushman Pharmacy Clinic. There are 9,000 of them in America, and not in America, in India. So he can throw some light on that. The next slide, please. So this is the background that we have been so great, and you teachers, I should be thankful to you that you made India the pharmacy hub of the world. But understand very clearly, it has nothing to do with taking the medication to the consumer. You can invent a drug, you can copy a drug, you can make aftermarket a drug and sell generic all over the world. But till you don't take that medication in your mouth, it goes into your body, then what effect does it do? So we all are very happy that 24% of the GDP is controlled by the pharmaceutical industry and 79% of the drugs are made in Gujarat. Gujaratis are great businessmen. But who is going to take this medication to the consumer? That is what the other country does. Because the labor cost is so expensive in India, they have got the product made here, and the pharmacists outside, they go to the community and they tell them how to take the medication, what precautions they should do, and governments will reimburse the money, because what will happen is that the cost of the medication will go down. you know so that is called the decoding the pharmacy services everywhere. Now, why did I write here wind blowing from west to the east? You all might have heard the word motel and patel. 60% of the immovable properties, motels, are owned by patels here. But at the same time, let me tell you, the community pharmacy are owned by Indians. If there is one motel in town, there are 3 community pharmacies owned by Indians. Because we are good at communication. We do care for the people. And we know how to make money out of that. And we have to apply this thing in India. It's a very simple thing. At the same time, we should make some money. There are things here called BMR, HMR, and MTM. I talked to Dr. Madhusmruti. She's going to make some copies and tell you, because I'm not going to talk about what are those things. You read in, and those definitions are there. Next slide, please. The reason I don't want to spend time on that, because I would like to come to a case study. And I can show you at that time that whatever these slides you have seen, I can combine those 5 or 7 things and show them that how a pharmacist can work. Now, everybody knows that there are 5 rights to make the medication. I know in India we don't do that. There should be a medication for the right person, the right drug, the right dose, right of route of administration. Does it go through the mouth? Does it go through the nose? Does it go into the eye, or does it go through the rectum? And what are the times? It's not done. The medicines are sold like Cadbury's. Now we have studied in pharmacy how to do this thing. So with the help of all the teachers, if you create this culture into the young pharmacist, so within the next 2 to 4 years, we will have a generation of pharmacists who can visit people after the medication is being purchased. Because to do anything in life, you need anything in life to give you advice. Let me put it like that, okay? To advise somebody, you need a data. And the data needs to be collected. Like in M-Pharm, you do some research. Every research is not an invention. That's why it is called a research. And how can we implant this thing in the student? And your college has got a very particular advantage. I talked briefly to Professor Madhusmruti. She does this thing. She has got 2 patients. When I ask her, does she know what her mother is taking? She says, yeah, I damn well I know. I said, who else do you take care of? She says, I take care of other person and I communicate with doctor. That's what a good pharmacist does. You go out and collect the medication and then they advise them. There are no labels given to a patient when they pick up the medication. You can do after the fact. If a doctor can make, next slide, please. Now, whatever service you do, you should get paid for it. Now, how can you get paid for it? If you do a good service, you should know what you are doing, and for that, you need a teacher who can teach you. You already have a teacher in your college who does this thing. Instead of she going to her aunt's house, maybe the 2 students can go there and she can teach them. And maybe in another 2 or 4 years, we might have 2 or 4 pharmacists who might want to go to the community pharmacy. The next slide, please. Now all of you know that one time or other, there is a doctor who comes to the house. And there could be 2 or 3 reasons. There is a mother at the home. Father thinks he has to go to work. And the child is sick. So you say, why don't you call the doctor? And we'll pay him. And have you noticed that every time doctor comes to the house, he has to give 1 injection. It could be a B complex or it could be a sodium chloride. Then he will say, please come outside. This is the prescription. Go and buy this medication and I will see you in 8 days. If a doctor who is prescribing medication, he can go to a doctor. He can go to make a house call. Why can't a guy who is dispensing the medication can go to the house and make a house call? It's very simple. Your teacher is doing it, and then you can charge money for that. Doctor, the next slide, please. Now, why this is important to collect the data? Dr. Nagappa said about home medication review, where you can go to the home, collect the medication, and find out what it is, over-the-counter medication and the real medication, which are prescribed by the doctor. So you have got some information. Now, I have also sent a eVital app. In that app, you can do all those things, and there is an email address for that person. You can, if you've got a question, you can ask them, you can go from there. What it does is, by collecting the data, you can even figure it out that how can you improve the quality of medication or the quality of therapy. You can reduce the therapy too. You can get better. The next slide, please. Generally, the targeted medication is in the field of body condition. In my opinion, diabetes is not a disease. In my opinion, hypertension or a low blood pressure is not a disease. Asthma is not a disease. Osteoporosis is not a disease. Those are the body condition. So we need to manage them. So either you can pick up a body condition and you manage the patient, and they need some information by checking their blood sugar, what diet they can take, what time they should take their medication, what exercise they should do, and if you are going to provide this service, you should charge for it. So suppose you charge 500 rupees a family, okay? You visit them twice a week, okay? If you have got 10 families, you have got a 5,000 rupees income just for nothing. You can bring those things to your teachers and you can show it to them. They might tell you how to adjust it. Till you do not learn how to swim, you cannot be a swimmer by reading. It's impossible. You cannot drive a car just by reading how to drive a car. And trust me, your teachers will tell you that what you see in the book, the real life is a lot different, So, and I think Dr. Nagappa showed a picture of that person, lady who used to work in Pune. I think her name is Devyani Bagode. She had around 1,000 patients. She used to charge around 1,500 rupees per family. You can imagine what is her income, and she was expert in diabetic care. $1,500 a month, and count. So suppose she has 100 family, how much rupees it is per month, and she had 1,000 people in Pune. Her income was 1.5 lakhs rupees. You don't have to be a B farm. You don't have to be M farm to even get that much family. Assistant professors. I don't know. See, I don't know much about India because I have never worked in India. But being an Indian, I know how to make money. Okay, and that's why I'm here. I'm a capitalist. You do service, and if you are good at your service, you will get money. Like you go to a restaurant and the waiter is nice to you, you are going to give them some tip, right? Now here you have to earn what you want to give. Okay, the next slide, please. Okay, I'm going to go over this case study and going to show you how to apply the pharmacist knowledge. You can do that at a home too, okay? It was the year 2015. I retired in 2016. It was a long weekend. It was sometime in November. The long weekend means there's a 3-day holiday. So I think so it was a Thanksgiving weekend off, and I was working the weekends. every healthcare person in America has to work the weekends, every other weekends. There is no if and buts. And me being a manager of that pharmacy, I always pick one of my senior tech to accompany me, so I have to work less. Like your principal will pick up the person whom he trusts, like, and she will go and take it, like Madhusmati was picked up by your director, and then she got in touch with me and she got the ball rolling. So that's the way, and senior technician makes around $35 an hour. Okay. And they are very good. To make the story short, around 3:30, two people walks into the pharmacy, and one of the girl was around 14 or 15, other one was around 40 or 45. They were Hispanic, they speak Spanish. The 14-year-old girl says that my mom is not feeling well and you have to measure her blood pressure. I said, okay, I will do that. And I gave her a piece of paper and I said, can you fill this out? That young girl didn't like it because she thought that I will do it right away. So she got a little bit agitated. That's fine. She says, no, doctor, you need to do it now. She doesn't feel good. I didn't feel bad. Anybody who is not well, they are always panicky, you know. So here we have to learn how can we handle them quietly, with empathy. So I told Isha, I said, get this thing going and check it out. What do we have in our database? And I went out and I measured her blood pressure. It was around 217 over 92. That's pretty high. The normal practice is that you call the ambulance, we call them here paramedics, and you transport the patient to the emergency room. I was not going to do that, not because that I was hard-headed, but I'm about to retire and I have enough years on me to know what is going on. It was a long weekend. Most of the long weekend, we get cases like this because all the families get together, they eat a lot of food. And, the thing called cousin rivalry. My husband bought me this, and my daughter is better than your daughter, and my son is got this job, and your son has got this job, and things like that. Then the argument starts, and men are busy drinking beer somewhere else, and the women are busy cooking, and they miss taking the medication. So by that time, Isha told me that, Uncle Dave, you need to come to pharmacy. So I got my message that she has found something which I want to know. So I said, why don't you come out and buy a girl a coconut drink and, get pineapple or strawberry flavor if she likes. Ask her what it is and let her drink that. In the back of my mind, what I had is that the blood pressure could be high because of the volume. So I was trying to get some volume out of the body. And the coconut water helps to do that because it has got a more potassium than the regular Gatorade or spot drink. Okay. And lower amount of potassium, less than 8 MEQ, is a diuretic, because it, so when I went inside, I looked at the profile. She was our patient last 2 years. She was taking a medication by the name metoprolol tartrate, 150 milligram, one tablet twice a day. Her doctor name was Dr. Gonzalez, and she had taken some birth control pill from us. She had taken some UTI medication from us, and she had taken some steroids, for a very short period of time when she was hospitalized. So I got my answer, and then Isha said that I want to talk to you, and he says, why don't you come out and I can go back to pharmacy because we cannot leave the pharmacy unattended. So she said that this girl had a fight with her relatives during this long weekend, and she was doing too much cooking and people were not helping her, because everybody had come to her house, but she forgot to take 3 doses of her blood pressure medication. Well, I hit a jackpot, right? And most of your pharmacognosy people should know not cognoscere, to psychology, that what I'm talking about. I came outside, and I asked her, I said, how did you like the coconut juice? She says, I loved it. I said, that's very good. You can change the slide now, okay? And I asked her to do one more thing. I said, can you do one more thing to me? He says, what? I said, why don't you breathe in through the right nostril and take the breath out through the left nostril and do it 5 times. And if you do that, you can go to the bathroom and empty your bladder out, then you come back. So this was something like a game. I was trying to get her involved with something which she can do. Okay? The whole idea was that to relax her. She did that. She smiled at me. A redness on her cheeks were gone down, and she went to the bathroom. She voided the bladder. She came back, and then I said, let's measure your blood pressure again. You know, now I measured it, and to everybody's surprise, everybody means I had already, Isha had already informed the store manager that we might need an ambulance, and Uncle Dev has got a difficult case. So hang around, have some people ready. So if this things doesn't work, then we have to transfer her to the hospital. The results were 157 over 82. It took around 15 minutes to do this thing. And then I asked her, I said, how do you feel? He says, no, I feel good. I'm ready to go home, because she had quieted down. She liked the juice, and she said, oh, I'm going to buy it too. I said, if you want to buy, go ahead, feel free to do that. And I told Ish, I said, before you go, I would like you to take one tablet. So I gave her 50 milligram of metoprolol tartarate, and I let her go. Now, my duty was not over. Now, let me tell you what are the things the pharmacist should do. I am not supposed to give any medication without the prescription, but I have a right to give emergency medication if I had a prescription on file. Yes, I had a prescription on file, but the patient had forgotten to take the medication at home, so she had some medication at home. So what I was trying to do is give her one dose here, because I am allowed to give up to 3 or 4 days, at no charge. So that's what I did. So legally, I didn't do anything wrong. The patient felt better. Then I got on an email, and I said, dear Dr. Gonzalez, I had such and such patient came in here, and you write the time in military. What does military timing means? I wrote down 15:30. It's a 24-hour clock. Okay? That I measured the blood pressure. This thing happened. I did this thing. I did this thing. All truth, And then after she voided the bladder, after 10-15 minutes, I measured the blood pressure again, and this is what I come. I have noticed that your patient is non-compliance. So I didn't use the word non-compliance, has some adherence problems. You always be positive when you are commenting about somebody else. She has an adherence issue because she had lot of relatives at her house and she was busy, so she forgot to take the medication. And my last sentence, and I recommend that this is a great opportunity, and she is a correct and the most relevant patient to try a medication, metoprolol succinate 100 milligram extended release tablet, 1 POQD, and your patient may avoid this kind of incidences in future. So I request you to call the pharmacy with this medication. I did 5 different things. I did not tell the patient that doctor was wrong. They should have given you the accident release from the beginning. I did not tell the patient what was her blood pressure in the beginning. I told her that I will have to measure it again because your blood pressure is fluctuating. So I need you to sit down for a while. And then I let her go. Now, these all things can be done at home. The labels are not given in India when people are giving the medications. Okay. Other day there was a recall of one medication. It came out my WhatsApp and there was a certain lot number. How can you trace a medication in India for a recall? Nobody knows. You just take the paper, you go away, patient even doesn't know where does the lot number is. Now here, we buy the medication by the lot number and expiration date. So we can do a search wherever there is a recall, and we can call the patients at home and we tell them that you have got such and such lot, there is a third degree recall and we are supposed to inform you, please bring the medication back to the pharmacy and we'll replace you with that. Okay, so this is called therapy management, and there is a great opportunity to do this. Can you have the next slide, please? I have several incidences. Like suppose you go to somebody's house and you see that they are taking a dexamethasone 10 milligram 4 times a day. Why would somebody take dexamethasone 4 times a day? It's a steroid. There must be something. It's an immunity suppression, right? Either it's a cancer patient or they are taking some chemotherapy drugs. So that's what got it. What will happen when you take steroids with such a high dose? The blood sugar is going to go up. So you go and check their blood sugar. You find out that is she a diabetic or not. But it could be a temporary diabetic for 3 days and then it is going to come down. You may ask them to drink some more fluids so the kidney can functioning very well. Otherwise, the high glucose will affect the kidney. You also ask them to put some lubricating drops in their eyes so you can protect their retina. You can also tell them to drink some aloe vera juice so you can protect their liver. And in India you have got a lot of advantage than here. There is a medication called Live 52, Ayurvedic, which is an established thing to tone up the liver. It is not going to interfere with dexamethasone, but you have a chance to ask the patient that what she is doing. Like I had an incident that patient came to the pharmacy and it was a new prescription, and apparently the girls had gone on the break, so I ended up giving the medication in the out window. Generally I don't give the medication out. The girls are there, but they had to take a break. So I said, okay, I will do it. So I asked the patient that why did you go to the doctor? She says, why do you want to know? I said, I want to know that this is the right medication or not. Did you have a fever or are you having a toothache or things like that? He says, no, I had some headache. She had a prescription of antibiotic. Now, I have never heard in my life a doctor can give an antibiotic prescription for a headache. So I said, can you hold for a second? Let me call the doctor. So I called the doctor, but I didn't say that I would like to talk to the doctor. I asked the nurse, I said, you had this patient and she just came here. And do you think that doctor meant to give her antibiotics or the prescription got switched? Because there were 3 or 4 patients. He said, oh, that's damn right. I gave her the wrong prescription. I have other prescription waiting and I was trying to find out whom did I give the antibiotic. I said, don't worry. I will give me the prescription over the phone and I will give it to her. And I said, when do you want to see the patient again? He says, yeah, we are also checking their blood pressure, because she is getting frequent headache. So we gave her some caffeine and things like that. I said, do you want to put some diuretics? So he says, yeah, why don't you add on hydrochlorothiazide? I said, okay, 12.5 milligram. I changed the medication, I gave it to her, and I said, I'm glad that I asked you, and thank you for being so cooperative to me. I was not trying to pry in your private life, but and when you talk to them, you have to look in their eyes, and you have to say authoritatively, that this is what you mean, and you know that much. But this thing can come with a practice, okay? Do you know what is the most overprescribed medication in the world? Anybody? Any teachers? Any students?
Stated.
Statin. Okay, you're right. What is that medication? It's for cholesterol, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what happens when you take statins? Within 3 weeks, atorvastatin is the number one drugs in India, because I was in India in February, and I was in Bangalore and Chennai and Mysore and all. And in one family, I found everybody is taking atorvastatin. Actually, I had to send them to do the genomics, because is that a genetic problem? Because everybody in the house doesn't have to have atorvastatin. Now, what happens is that this drug interferes the production of ATP. If you remember your second B Pharm biochemistry, ADP to ATP conversion, there is a 4-minute time, and then it's the mitochondria thing, and that's what gives you the allergy. Your Krebs cycle and things like that. Because there is a less energy, the muscle can get cramped. That's why you get a leg cramp. In old days, people used to take quinine for leg cramps. But quinine was very dangerous, because quinine can cause a second degree heart block. Like, I don't know how many of you drinks, but there is a drink called gin and tonic. Tonic has got quinine water. So if you are a heart patient, don't take gin and tonic. Take something else, because you don't want a quinine by causing a second degree heart block. Do you know that what other medication can cause a heart block? Digoxin, like a second degree. That's why you have to measure the level. Now this can be avoided. And I understand that there is a 50 hours of nutraceuticals, either in your diploma or BPharm. And maybe this is, in my opinion, pharmacognosy should take over the ceuticals part, because in India, there is a great opportunity. You have got the whole Ayurveda there, to do that. In coming back to the simvastatin, there is a product called coenzyme Q10. It is an invention of an Indian pharmacist, okay? And it is made in Japan. And you take 200 milligram to 300 milligram, one capsule a day, you will not have the leg cramps. Nowadays, I am with the Kaiser Foundation. That's the largest HMO in health management organization in Southern California. Every cardiologist, when they write a prescription of simvastatin, they will write coenzyme Q10. People can go to Costco or a Walmart and buy coenzyme Q10 over the counter. Over the counter medication doesn't require prescription. And if you are going to have a medical store, to make more money, you have to sell more things, right? Over the counter products, you have got at least 35 to 40% profit. Your medication, you have got 10 to 20% profit. But you are going to make somebody's life better, and whenever there is a heart problem, like example Dr. Nagappa gave, that amlodipine was the culprit to cause that asthma, because that patient was a smoker. So she had a higher palpitation because of nicotine. And the doctor thought, I would like to reduce the heart rate, so they gave the calcium channel blockers. Now there are 3 kinds of calcium channel blockers. Is anybody there from the pharmacology? I guess not. I think I had told Madhusmati that some of the assistant professors should be there. Anyway, that's fine. Calcium channel blockers, they have got 3 channels, and you do that. But the heart is always competing between potassium and sodium. Potassium is an intracellular fluid. Sodium is an extracellular fluid. And if that person is diabetic, then there are more complications, because diabetic people, they sometimes try to pull out the potassium outside. So it goes in. Now, because of that, magnesium is also reducing to all the people, those who are taking cholesterol. So the magnesium supplement will help the contraction of the ventricular heart muscles. Now, people, those who have taken calcium channel blockers, they get edema. People who take a simvastatin or a pravastatin or a atorvastatin, or there's another fourth one too, rovastatin, they get edema in the ankle. So by giving magnesium, you are going to have the ejection factor better. So magnesium is the most forgotten element. And all the heart patient or a cholesterol patient, they should take 1 tablet of magnesium citrate or 2 tablets of magnesium citrate. The magnesium oxide has got a 40% magnesium. Magnesium citrate has got around 18 to 20%. But the absorption of magnesium citrate, and the magnesium citrate comes as a liquid form in a liquid capsule. By saying so small things and making the quality of life better for your patient, they will love you. They will do anything for you. If you, like, Dr. Nagappa said that she made some tea for everybody. He was doing those things in 2004 and 2005. You know, taking students from the college to the different homes and telling them what to do. Why nutraceuticals are more important? Every time you take antibiotic, it kills the organisms, right? Otherwise, you don't take antibiotics. It reduces the red blood cells too. Okay. Wouldn't it be better to take some probiotics whenever you take antibiotics? The probiotics will help to give the good organisms inside the intestinal flora so you can absorb good food. So you can get upon your legs a lot sooner. You take medication for the time it is being prescribed, and then you overcome that. you know uh, if suppose somebody is taking steroids, then there is a way you take that. Everybody who takes a continuous steroids, they are the prime candidate for osteoporosis. They are the prime candidate for GI problem. And anybody who has taken more steroids, they will have a gastritis, because that's what it happens. I said, I think yesterday or something on a WhatsApp message, I said that I will talk a little bit about hospital pharmacy, since Dr. R.N. Gupta is there and he has written a book, on hospital pharmacy. In hospital pharmacy, how can a pharmacist help maximum to the patient? In hospital, you don't have a chance to go and give the pharmacy, the patient's counseling to the patient, because they are being treated by nurses, But have you thought that when the patient is going home, we can arrange their medication, to the community pharmacy, and we can establish a communication link? So it will be good for a pharmacist to get involved with a discharge planning. In every hospital, there is a discharge planning nurse, because they figure it out, because they have to control the cost of the nurses, that so many nurses for so many beds. So they will bug doctors every day morning that, uh, who is going to go home. Now, if pharmacists get involved with the discharge planning, you can figure out, if suppose somebody is taking IV antibiotics, what oral antibiotic can be given. Now, the patient from a hospital can go to an ambulatory care, or he can go to the community. Generally, in community pharmacy, you take all the medication orally. Now, it depends that who is going to pick up the patients and do that. If hospital pharmacy can afford, they can give 3 days medication and then you give the prescription to them. Otherwise, a hospital pharmacist can find out where this person is living and tell them that, do you want me to call your pharmacy to get your medication ready so you can pick it up? It's extra service. And they will love it that somebody takes care for me. We have to identify ourselves that we care for people. And that's what is going to raise our standard, our stature in the community. I've got around, I live in a neighborhood where we have got around 7 plus 14 homes on one street. Everybody knows I'm a pharmacist. They can come at my place anytime and they can ask me what is going on. Whenever somebody goes to the hospital, they come with a prescription and they say, Hey Dave, this is what is wrong with us. Can you find out what it is? I said, fine. I've got a guy living across the street, 102 years old, Mr. Hugo, who gave first job to my son as a gardener. Uh, his daughter, at least twice a week, she will come and she will inform me how is Mr. Hugo doing. I tell them that this is time for to do the home health care services. I said, tell your doctor this. And now he's not able to walk, so we got him a wheelchair. We also got him a motorized chair, and we got somebody to do the things. Now, in nutritional approach, there is a very great thing in India right now, millet. There is a guy called Dr. Khadir Wali. You can Google him. And there are Sridhanya millets. I take Sridhanya millets. My A1C was 9.5 year and a half back. It has come down to 6.9. And those are unpolished millets, and they have got a ratio of fiber to carbohydrate around 10. So what happens is that it acts like a time release product. The uptake into the blood of the carbohydrate is around 2.5 hours. If you eat the rice or wheat, 100 gram on 100 gram millet, it's within 30 minutes it will go up. So what happens that you don't get a peak, of glucose and okay. So there is a great opportunity, and there is a great money is involved. At least each one of you can make 1 lakh rupees very easily. You just have to have, 10, 15 families, and do that. There is a guy called Dr. Bhandarkar. He's in Andheri. He's a student of Dr. Nagappa. He charges around 700 rupees in Andheri, and he changes the medication from brand to generic, and he gives them the pamphlet that when they go to the doctor, these are the medications they have taken. Because sometimes one patient will go to 3 doctors, so they will be taking 3 medications and they never tell the doctor, because as soon as you go to doctor's office, your tongue is tied. It happens to everybody. So you give them a medication list that you go and take them. So doctor will say, no, these are the things to be discontinued. People might take medication for no reason, which is from the other doctor. So there are a lot of services you can do. And thank you all. Thank you so much. It's around 11:45 here, 11:40.
Thank you very much, sir, for a very interesting presentation. I would like to thank Professor Anant Naik and Dr. Mahadev Bhatt for their very interesting using language case studies. The case studies very interesting and easily understood. I hope all our students have got benefited. And has given very good examples. Starting from the father became a farmer with 3 weeks. And subsequently, imagine how much he had. He was approaching the relatives and asking the details. He was helping the patient by his service. That really shows and positive, which is more important. Simply by reading people, we cannot become pharmacists, but we have to have a positive That's very important. Once you have the positive, you can do best positive report. So I request all our young and pharmacists and therapists to be more enthusiastic and devote their time to politics. That's very important. So Randanayak has also given very good examples, home medication, and he gave the example of who practice and learn in Pune. Given a very interesting example of and sphincters, which nobody notices. And maybe many of us may not be knowing. Floatipin causes and that leads to the irritation and other problems. So with all these live examples and case studies, and similarly, that Mahadev was experienced and he narrated a case study. Very interesting. And I have a suggestion to dignitaries. If they put case studies in books, that would be really useful to pharmacists because this information will not get usual books. Or the keep your experience in the form of education. That will really help us. And some examples, they are out of experience. They need to be in the form of kindly. And advantages for more, almost 45. A lot of information and knowledge.
Sound is not clear, sir. Not clear sound.
And I would like to get to Saran Gupta kindly introducing this and making this. So we all your efforts
Too much echo.
for participating in this webinar. Now, Prasant Kumar Panda.
Okay, thank you, sir. Actually, we have had the very much motivational and inspirational lecture from both our speaker, Dr. Mahadev and Dr. Nagappa.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I only one thing I will suggest all the teachers and the students and the participants that as we have heard, we should think to start pharmacy practice. Wherever we are working as a drug inspector or in drug industry or as a teacher or in hospital or in community, we should think because we have got the expertise. We should adjust. At the same time, that pharmacy practice regulation, which has given support to us, we are protected by it. At the same time, as Dr. Nagappa showed us the slide, that as per the PPC, pharmacy practice regulation, the pharmacist will get in return professional fee, professional charges. So if pharmacist is to do the pharmacy practice, at the same time, there is a scheme of government that is called Prime Minister General Drug Scheme. If any pharmacist wants to open the drug store, he can approach them. There, he will get 2.5 lakhs as a grant, and 5 lakhs as a subsidy amount, support, financial support, and he will get the medicine. He will get the medicine and he will get 20% discount over sale of that medicine. You see, besides this selling of medicine, he can do the practice, HMR, or giving better therapy to patient, or regulation, or pharmacy practice, so that he will earn both sides as per the commission selling of medicine, at the same time by doing pharmacy practice. So we should think that, and our teachers should encourage our students to do pharmacy practice. We have to make much more support. We have to convince them that the best option before them. At the same time, it is required for our pharmacists that they should be acquainted with the all subject, whatever being taught in our pharmacy curriculum, and we should keep current knowledge, what is going on, what are the medicine going on. At the same time, they can keep one National Pharmacy of India, NFI, as a pocket dictionary with them. This will support. And lastly, I am very much inspired, and I at this age, even 68, by the lecture of Dr. Mahadev and Dr. Ananta Nagappa, I got much more inspiration. Though I am doing pharmacy practice, my suggestion of giving to my neighbor, all my neighbors, I used to give suggestions on their prescription. That's why they are respecting me, and whenever any doctor gives a medicine they are taking, they are coming and asking me, this is all right or not. You see, that I am doing for the last 10 to 15 years before this pharmacy practice. So I think all of our colleagues will think over this. Thus, this much I want to say, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I also become much more motivated by both of your lectures, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you, Dr. Murthy, for giving me scope.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Dr. Murthy, you have got a teacher already ready who is doing it. Madhu Smruti, right?
Yes,
Just
sir, right.
make her more busy, give her some more students, and you can be one generation ahead. That maybe in 4 years, a student might come out who would like to go towards the community. There is a person who is prepared to do it. She is doing it for 2 or 3 people,
Sir, we'll do it, sir. We have project work in our B.Pharm course also. Maybe we'll plan some project works in that. We'll do that. Thank you.
You have to plan it out because see, you work with the students. I don't, so it has to be done your way, But see that what we can do for the future of India. It's not going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah,
After
right, sir.
4 years,
Correct.
it will happen. Talk to Raj Vaidya. In 2001, I met him. His wife used to teach in his pharmacy how the new mothers can do breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And look at his pharmacy. He has done wonderful. I think Dr. Gupta should know him because he also used to be with IPA,
Yes,
I know.
he's my friend, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
He's my friend. He is in Community Pharmacy Division Chairman.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I stayed with him for a week, and when I was in India in February, he was my room partner. Nagappa was there. I went to see him in Mysore, and Raj and I, we stayed together. So in India, you can do wonders with the generic drug, side effects, and the herbal medication,
Yes, sir. So in our college, we opened one general store where we supply generic medicines.
Very good.
Very, very successful because we use it for different purposes. But even for training of students, as well as testing the samples and making comparison between the branded products and generic products. That is done by our students in their analysis practicals, etc. And really it's useful. And many staff and students are also benefited out of this. So we are trying to the extent possible from our side. Yeah. And as suggested, we will also include some of the students to go for this home medication review or some kind of similar services, maybe in our project work. I'll request some of our teachers to do that, so that it will become a reality by maybe after 2-3 years in real terms.
Yeah, and please help us and join in our project, and eventually we will get it done. Dr. Gupta, thank you. Dr. Murthy, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Principal and Madhu Smruti ma'am, thank you. I gave you a lot of extra work, so please forgive me. Okay.
So our staff members really very interested to work. Whenever there is a work, they rise to the occasion. Our principal, Prasant Kumar Panda, and Prasant Kumar Chaudhary, another professor, and Dr. Madhu Smruti Kandai, all these people, they are involved in this project. Within 3-4 days, we could make it a reality. And it is really...
Sure. Now, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor Kumar Panda propose a formal vote of thanks.
Okay.
So, thank you very much, sir, for for giving me this opportunity to propose the formal vote of thanks. Indeed, it was pleasure listening to both of the speakers. In fact, I could not realize how these 2 hours passed in. Actually, I have been hearing about Nagappa sir. I have met him in some conferences in earlier days, but I'm lucky to share the platform today with Nagappa sir. Yeah, that is what is a dream come true for us, and more than that, sir. Because we have since my joining into B Farm, I have been listening about Nagappa sir, but today I got the opportunity to see him face to face in the same platform. And the examples that you have cited, sir, the case studies that Nagappa sir has cited about his father and all, it was wonderful and inspiration was to the maximum. And coming to Mahadev Bhatt, sir, the examples what you have given, the case studies, I'm sure we are not going to get in the books. It is out of the experience, and that is what we miss from the books, and we learn from people like you, sir. And we are sorry that we have probably troubled in some odd time, though we are in the morning time like 10:30 to 12. Probably it is an odd time for you. Sorry for that, but we have enjoyed a lot, sir. We have learned a lot. We are motivated a lot, and we are going. It is not the end. It is definitely the beginning, which we are going to take up forward and see that our students get benefited and the community as a whole gets benefit
Thank you so
from
much.
this exercise.
Thank you.
And definitely I will fail in my duty if I don't appreciate the effort taken by our Gupta sir, Arun Gupta sir, because he has been the I think what we say network between you people and our Dr. Murthy to arrange this, and we are very much thankful to you, sir. All three sirs on behalf of the management, director, staff, and students, and on my personal behalf, we extend our heartful thank to Nagappa sir, Mahadev sir, and Gupta sir. And it would not have been possible without the consent and guidance of our director sir. We also thank our director sir, Professor P.N. Murthy sir, for arranging this so in short period, and also always encouraging us to go for this type of seminar, webinar, where we can learn and we can make people learn. And also I could see some of the guests like Anjani Kumar sir and Prasad sir, who were also there apart from our faculty members and students. So I also, on behalf of Royal College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, extend our thanks to all the dignitaries, those who have joined, and definitely special thanks to all the students and the faculty members, those who have joined. And I am sure that they have been benefited to the maximum extent. Uh, and also, I'd like to extend my thanks to Dr. Madhusmiti Pandai, who has taken all these efforts to arrange this meeting, and Dr. Prashant Kumar Chaudhary to use this digital platform to make this digital platform and give the YouTube link also. So it is available in the YouTube also. Probably those who have missed out, they can still get the benefit and essence of it afterwards through our YouTube channel. Thank you all. Thank you, sir, again. And we had a wonderful time, sir. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Gupta ji,
Thank you.
keep us busy. You know, tell
Yes, sir.
your
Thank you, sir.
Murthy sir, tell other principals to talk to us, okay?
Yes, sir. I am contacting other institute also, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night. Namaskar.
Okay.
Namaskaram.
Good night, sir. Good night.
Good-
Good night, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good night, sir. Nagappa sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for arranging
Thank
such a
you.
good
Thank you
program.
very much.
Thank you,
Let
sir.
us
Thank you,
begin a new
Dr.
era
Nagappa
in
sir.
Indian.
Your dedicated service to pharmacy professor.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.